Ever wonder what would happen if Kevin McAllister were subject to the real-life laws of Illinois? No? Just me? Okay, alright. Well, to find out the answer to my own question, apparently, I've watched the Home Alone movie 10 times in a row, and let's just say, Kevin McAllister isn't as sweet as we all think. But now you're probably wondering how an 8-year-old can ever be charged with any crimes. Well, it is true that Illinois' age of criminal responsibility is 13, but as Kevin is committing multiple serious crimes, I'll be trying him as an adult. Let's begin with Kevin's first act of mischief. While most kids are busy raiding the cookie jar, Kevin sneaks into Buzz's room and borrows money from his stash without permission.
All right, Buzz's life savings.
Legally speaking, this is textbook theft, taking property without the owner's consent. In Illinois, theft under $500 is a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to a year in jail or a $2,500 fine. Luckily for Kevin, Buzz shrugged it off, probably chalking it up to sibling rivalry.
Hey, Kev. It's pretty cool that you didn't burn the place down.
But stealing Buzz's money isn't the only time Kevin stole something. For some reason, Kevin wants to buy a toothbrush from the local pharmacy, because this is what every 8-year-old wants to do. While Kevin awaits the answer if the toothbrush is approved by the American Dental Association, an old man is approaching. And not just any old man, no! This is, according to Buzz, who told Kevin, the South Bend Shovel Slayer. A serial killer who murdered his victims with a snow shovel and allegedly dissolved their bodies in salt to hide the evidence. Yeah, that sounds valid. So, when Kevin notices the old man, he obviously is spooked and starts running immediately. Leaves the store with the toothbrush in his hand.
Wait, son, you have to pay for that toothbrush. Son? Son? Hey!
Not a smart move, man. I, the cinema judge, will rule this as shoplifting, a Class A misdemeanor, and sentence him to pay the fine of $150. But stealing was just the beginning for Kevin. Right after he shoplifts, he's being chased by this extremely fit police officer. This officer is certainly no Usain Bolt and can't keep up with Kevin. But the fact that Kevin is running makes him resist arrest, therefore I charge him with a $500 fine. And it isn't the last fine I'll give him. Take a look at what he pulled off next. So let's talk about one of Kevin's more creative schemes. When the pizza delivery guy shows up, Kevin uses the movie Angels with Filthy Souls to scare the poor kid senseless, with threats like,
"Keep the change, you filthy animal,"
and fake gunfire blasting through the house. It's no wonder the delivery guy left tire marks in the driveway to escape. This kind of stunt falls under disorderly conduct, and I sentence him to pay a $500 fine. Twice, since he also did it to Marv. Now, let's get into the serious crimes. Well, the previous crimes are also serious, but you get my point, hopefully. But we have to talk about the self-defense part. What can we consider as self-defense? If someone's coming at you and you genuinely think you or someone else is in danger, you're allowed to use force to stop them. Simple, right? Here's the catch though. If you're thinking about going all action hero with deadly force, you better have a really good reason. Something like preventing serious injury or preventing death. Yeah, that sounds like a good reason. I don't want to die. So going all in with a battle plan, not a good reason. This is considered a premeditated act of violence and can lead up to a 5-year prison sentence and a $25,000 fine. And shooting Harry in his ding-dong and Marv in his face after they said,
"We're not gonna hurt you."
No, isn't the nicest thing to do either. You could have just let him in, buddy. But yeah, then we didn't have a movie to evaluate, and we couldn't charge Kevin with all these crimes. So shooting Harry leads up to a $25,000 fine and a 5-year prison sentence. Shooting Marv leads up to nothing, since he was entering the house unlawfully. But the next thing Kevin did to Marv isn't considered self-defense. So now Marv is in the house, and he just wants to turn on a light. But that doesn't go as planned for Marv, since Kevin booby-trapped the light, and he takes an iron to the head. And booby-trapping stuff in your house is considered excessive force, which will lead to a 5-year prison sentence. But what about heating up doorknobs? Harry finally reaches the front door after making his way up the very slippery steps, which makes me realize I didn't mention these before. So yeah, Kevin throws water on the steps of the front porch, and going down to the basement, they freeze, become extremely slippery, making Marv and Harry fall. So creating icy steps is a great way to keep intruders out, since this will most likely not kill anyone. It will hurt though. The same goes for placing the small toys and the Christmas ornaments, so this part I'll call self-defense. But let's get back to Harry. He reaches the front door, checks if he can spot Kevin, and then tries to open the door. Little did he know, Kevin trapped the door with an electric barbecue starter, making the doorknob extremely hot.
And it burns, burns, burns.
I'm having trouble with this action from Kevin. Is it exceeding reasonable force and therefore aggravated battery? Or is it simply a way to keep them out of the house and considered self-defense? I'll let you decide on this one in the comments. While you're typing, I'll continue to the next crazy trap Kevin set up for Harry. So Harry recovered from the burn on his hand by putting it in the snow. What isn't snow good for, right? Then he moves on to the back door of the house and is really careful touching the doorknob. I gotta give him that. While this one isn't heated up with a barbecue starter, it is trapped. Opening the door sets off a torch and seriously burns Harry's head. Luckily for Harry, there's enough snow around the house, so he gets the fire extinguished in seconds. Can we consider this self-defense? No, we cannot. This is excessive force under Illinois self-defense law, and therefore Kevin receives a 5-year prison sentence and a $25,000 fine. But what Kevin says when he sits at the top of the stairs destroys all self-defense claims from now on.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Yeah, now you admitted you're doing it for fun, Kevin. Not a smart move, in legal terms. Anyway, while Harry and Marv try to get up and make their way upstairs, Kevin has the brilliant idea of throwing some paint cans at their heads. Heads up! Both Marv and Harry are smashed in the face by the paint cans, which leads them back where they started, down the stairs. Oh, and hurt, I'll guess. So, according to law, a paint can is capable of causing death or serious harm. So this will lead to a 10-year prison sentence and a $50,000 fine. So Kevin made his way up to the attic and took a zip line to his, well, I believe it is his, treehouse. It could have belonged to one of his brothers. Anyway, Marv and Harry are pretty pissed at Kevin and are determined to get him. Yeah, I would be pissed too. Then again, I would probably never rob a house to begin with, but hey, I'd be pissed. So they decided to follow him to the treehouse. But little Mr. Evil cuts the rope with giant scissors.
Hey guys, check this out.
Oh, go back! Oh.
Making Harry and Marv slam into a stone wall. This is considered reckless conduct, and I will sentence him to 6 months in prison and a $1,000 fine. When Kevin finally calls the cops, he's not doing it as Kevin. While this might seem innocent, it is not. Maybe you don't know this little kid, but that means false impersonation. And in Illinois, where the McAllisters live, that leads to a 1-year prison sentence and $2,500 fine. In the end, Kevin runs towards his neighbor's house and enters the house without permission. While this is criminal trespass to real property, it led to the arrest of the wet bandits, so I'll cut him some slack and let him get away with this one. Well, what a happy end, right? Ha! Not for Kevin. Let's sum up all the felonies he committed. That's some serious crimes committed by Kevin, and all this will lead to a total time of 31.5 years in prison, out just before he's 40, so he can still have a life afterward. Okay, but what movie character should I do next? Please let me know down below, and I'll catch you on the next one.